Yes, people, what's poppin' today? In today's video, we are discussing what you think. I've put it out to the people, and I'm reacting, really, to what you think the differences can be made in this Chelsea squad, in this huge roster. The big decision that will make the difference to give Chelsea the edge, to get over the line in these big games, drawing against Arsenal and United, just about losing to Liverpool. Bit unfortunate with the first game of the season against Man City. I reckon had we played them later, we would have got a result out of them. Genuinely do think that. We're going to get into it today. A little bit of news as well on players withdrawing from international squads. Maybe a bit on players being upset. Well, that's a sort of recurring theme in the Chelsea headlines at the moment. It's going to be fun!
I love me, baby, bust it open, bring it back. I'm the realest killer in it, I don't even need to act. Throwing up the racks, I'm just throwing up the racks, baby.
Yes. So welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. We are going to get into it today, guys. Little bit of ass work. Do consider supporting the content. Super simple to do so. You just drop a like on the video. And if you do want to subscribe, ensure you hit the bell. Of course, we are on the road this season, hopefully to 200,000, but we're very close to 190,000. So you could be the difference, mate. Be that guy or girl. Right. Some withdrawals from the international squad first. Let's take a look. Well, what do we know? I think Jorgensen might have withdrawn, but there's been 4 major high-profile players that were called up to their countries. First off, Malo Gusto, Wesley Fofana, Levi Cole, and Cole Palmer. So it's like me, French and English. A lot of important players there, of course. Wesley Fofana is a starter for Chelsea. He's been out injured for an entire season last campaign. He's come back in. He's been very important. And, you don't want to mess about with Didier Deschamps. He's been bad with our players before. Great. And similarly, Malo Gusto, even if maybe, spoiler, maybe he's not a starter in a little while, then fine. Yeah, but you want to protect him because he's playing loads of minutes. Levi Colwill had a knock. I think he's got a big England career ahead of him. I don't think he needs these desperation minutes to impress anyone. I think he's fine. Similarly, Cole Palmer, you seem to have this feeling, an inkling, that now Gareth Southgate called him up. Now Gareth Southgate's gone, that Cole Palmer will play for England. So that's fine. That's important. Stay back at Cobham. Let's prepare. We've got a good run of fixtures coming after the international break. Let's ensure that we are good to go. Man. Right. Okay, in a moment, I'm going to go through... Right, this is my phone. Look how cool the case is. I'm going to go through a bunch of polls that I did on my Instagram story, talking about every single starting position and doing a poll of players who you, the people, would prefer to play there. I've got 33,000 followers on my Instagram. Come follow me on Instagram, by the way, if you want to. It's at Football Yannick on the gram. You just I do loads of stories on there, posts, some lives as well. But I've done that poll, so we're gonna go through it together. And actually, we're gonna build the lineup here on Footbin just to see what you man are saying and what you think the final differences are. Because there are some people saying certain wingers should be dropped, certain strikers should be starting. Of course, there's the big talk of the midfield pivot. There was the real big discussion of Reece James actually looking pretty good at left back, and there was tactical reasons for him playing at left back in terms of the left inside midfielder and the left winger, what James could do, also protects him a little bit, and Gusto on the right. And there was a lot of talking points, so it's great to get a definitive temperature check on what you guys have said, and then we can go through that together as well, because this could be the difference in terms of really just getting over the line in these big games. Quickly though, I do want to speak on some stuff. Noni Madueke has been catching some heat in the headlines. Apparently when he was subbed off against Arsenal at home at Stamford Bridge, he went straight down the tunnel in a bit of a mood. A little bit much of a reaction. Apparently he only went in there for a few minutes and he did emerge and to sit on the bench. My guy could have just gone for a whiz, but apparently because he looked quite like he was having a strop. But also he could have just been upset with himself. He could have been frustrated. Noni does seem to have this petulant attitude, which we saw come to a head when he did the whole penalty argument thing, but that's seemingly done. And we know now, Pochettino said, and Pochettino's done Maresca a favour here. He was like, look, Palmer takes the penalties, everyone else can do one. Oh, done. Do you know what I mean? Look, Noni's young. He is young. He's 21, isn't he? Like, for me, that's young. I'm 35, bro. Do you know what I mean? When I was 21, I was a bit of a knobber, so fine. He's a valuable player to the squad. We'll see how valuable he is in a moment when we react to what you guys said and there's some really interesting twists in there as well. What you guys said. Also, The Guardian Sport have reported, or Dave Heitner of The Guardian Sport reported this, that Joao Felix tore his sock ties off in a show of frustration after Maresca's introduction of Nkunku for Jackson, knowing that he wouldn't get on the pitch against Arsenal. It was like 88th minute at that point anyway. I do feel genuinely bad for Joao Felix because he's clearly a very talented player. In fact, it's so tough, man, because hindsight's 2020. Like I said again on my Instagram, @FootballYannick, I said to you guys that maybe in that game I would have taken Palmer off. I know that sounds like a crazy sacrilegious thing to do, take Cole Palmer off in a big game against Arsenal. I'm not talking about like early doors, but maybe like 75 minutes to put Joao Felix on. It was his birthday. I know he played possibly 90 minutes in midweek, but still Joao Felix. And the thing to note is that Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal manager, had put Thomas Partey on Cole Palmer, and they were collectively doing a job on him. That was the plan, nullify Cole Palmer. What happens if Joao Felix goes on? Do they still make everyone draw to Joao Felix? I don't think they do, and I think that's more of a compliment to Palmer, but it might have offered an opportunity for a more freed up Joao Felix, who goes into different spaces, who plays differently to Palmer, who maybe they haven't prepared for, could have done something. Look, and I also have said it here on the channel before, I think Joao Felix could play as a false 9. I like how he plays. I don't think Nkunku's the greatest number 9 selection. He's a great goal scorer. That's why we're playing him there. That's literally it. But everything else in terms of playstyle profile isn't right. Maresca wants to play with a conventional striker. I've said it here before a million times, so forgive me for just quickly saying it again. Jackson, even though a recently converted striker, he's got those attributes and style. That's why we wanted Osimhen. That's why we wanted John Duran. That's why we wanted Samu Amoradion. These are conventional strikers. Nkunku isn't. But, if you're going for a plan B, different style, for me, personally, you don't go for an Nkunku there. You go for a Joao Felix there to play a conventional false 9, a creative false 9 that can drop deep and slow the game down and do passes. That's just my opinion. I think Joao Felix should be used in the Premier League one way or another. And, he's still listed on FIFA as a left winger, and he can, Maresca's nailed his colours to the mast saying he's a cam. So bring him on as a cam over Cole Palmer. Anyway, we've had a lot of unhappy stories. And Nkunku, basically B-teamers, Nkunku, Enzo Fernandez, now Joao Felix, and Noni sort of behaving like an unhappy child as a first teamer, maybe knowing that he's on the edge of being dropped from that first team. Maybe he might go. The good thing for him is Saka, I think, is withdrawn from the England squad. He's probably going to hope to start for England in a couple of games, and hopefully look good. That would do himself a favour, wouldn't it? So anyway, like I said, I've done this story on my Instagram. I've gone through every position and I've given several options between like 2 and 4 or 5. I don't know if there's a 2, but I've given several options positionally for certain players. And I'm going to go through the results now and we're going to build a team here on Footbin. So this is something I'm quite looking forward to. It should be fun. All right, here we go. The following stories will be polls for preferred starting 11 players. Goalkeeper. Now, the goalkeeping options are Sanchez, Jorgensen, and it is a hard J, and Petra. I've put in a couple of bonuses, I must say, in this, like that unexpected or unavailable for the moment because of loans. So I put Petrovic in. Okay. As things stand, yeah. So we've had hundreds of people look at these, right? Hundreds and hundreds. If I left it longer, it might have been thousands. But it's still a great sample size of Chelsea fans that follow me, right? So, coming in last, right, at 28% is Robert Sanchez. So Maresca's first choice, the player that Chelsea think will come good stylistically, is Robert Sanchez with 28%. Coming in at second place at 34% is Philip Jorgensen. So I think Jorgensen hasn't impressed me at all, but he's still got an extra 6% than Sanchez. And then the bonus player coming in as a winner is Georgi Petrovic, guys, with 38%. So it's all pretty close, really. 6% increase to 4% increase. But I know he's not available now. Could we recall him in January? Would we even do that? I don't know. Probably not. But Georgi Petrovic wins the people's vote as an 11 right now. Now, it's worth me saying, okay, these bonus players, there's a couple of players on loan, and the third bonus is a player we've got in the squad, right? Obviously, I'm going to build this as a sort of decision that can change Chelsea's fortunes. The loan players can't miraculously appear, but there's everything else is kind of, worthy of that title. So I just want to explain that now. Right, so next up, we are starting, after the goalkeeper, with left back, okay? And left back options are Mark Cucurella, Reece James, and Renato Vega. Of course, we've got Chilwell, but, ain't gonna happen, is it? I could have also put Malo Gusto in there, who's done a little bit of left back, but I didn't put him in. So coming in at last place with 1%. 1% is Renato Vega. I did think he'd get a little bit more love for that because a lot of people liked how he inverted. Coming in at second place with only 5% is Reece James. I thought more people would like that, but I must say I do agree with the absolute landslide choice of 94%. 94% of Mark Cucurella, and that is probably because he just absolutely locked down Bukayo Saka. Now the left centre-back role, let's get into that. There's 3 choices. Coming in last with currently 0 votes, with a lot of people voting, is Benoit Badiashile with 0%. At second place with only 2% is Tosin, who I believe can play as a left centre-back there. I mean, you could technically say Disassi maybe, but Tosin's probably the more likely. 2%. 98%, unsurprisingly, gang, is Levi Colwill. Didn't have the greatest game against Arsenal, but has generally been really good this season. Right centre-back, 3 choices. Coming in at third place, the disaster man himself, Axel Disassi, with only 2%. Yeah, and I'm surprised that we've seen this much. I thought earlier in the season this might have been different. Second place with only 10% of the votes is Tosin, which means Wesley Fofana wins again with a nearly as big landslide with 88% Wesley Fofana. Again, he had a good game against Arsenal, better than Colwill. So that is these 2 ain't going anywhere. To be honest, these 3 so far have been astronomical landslides, which is nice. It kind of speaks to testament of we've got something going here, Now, 3 choices for right back, guys. Disassi, Gusto, and Reece James. Coming in at third place, unsurprisingly, with 0%, unsurprisingly, is Axel Disassi. My guy is not rated. I know he scored a goal the other day against Noah, but he's just not the one. Maybe it's a system thing, but yeah. Second place is Malo Gusto, which means Reece James is first place, but the percentages are more radical than many people would have thought. Gusto at second place with 19%. Reece James with an astronomical 81% of the Chelsea fans' votes to become starting right back, which means the whole back four is an absolute strong landslide of decisions. People know what they want in the back four. Worth mentioning as well with Reece James, I said it on social media, again on Instagram, that Gusto's been getting in shooting positions. Gusto's been missing long shots, snapshots, but sitters now as well. One thing we know about Captain Reece James, he's an amazing player, but he is a goal scorer. He is a finisher. So it doesn't surprise me at all to see people choose that back line. Now, the main CDM, we're going to choose the left side CDM. Main CDM over here. I've given 4 choices here. Vega, Fernandez, Lavia, and Caicedo, because I wanted people to mix and match the partnership a little bit. Vega, 0%. Again, poor guy. He's very much a B team player. Enzo Fernandez, 1%. Lavia 8%, and 91%, unsurprisingly, for maybe Chelsea's player of the season, Moises Caicedo. Superb player, the main central defensive midfielder. Now, the partner CDM, so this is like the not the top dog. 4 choices, again Vega, Enzo Fernandez, Lavia, and I've put in a bonus here, which is the other loney bonus, which is Andre Santos. All right, okay. Coming in at last at 1% is Renato Vega with, just 1%. Third place is Andre Santos with 8%. And so now it's between Enzo and Lavia, and the narrative changed a little bit of Arsenal. I don't think Lavia had the greatest game. Enzo came on and got the draw, getting assist and thinking, and then people thought, oh, can we make Enzo work? Can we make Enzo work? But Enzo is in second place with 28%, and still a whopping 63% is Lavia. So that is still extensive backing for Romeo Lavia. Worth mentioning as well, I've had a lot of people talk about the partnership. The undeniable central midfielder is Caicedo. Undeniable. But getting the most out of him. Lavia makes Caicedo better, but is Lavia there yet? I mean, he deserves grace and time because he's young. He's been out like Fofana. Do you know what I mean? But Andre Santos, a lot of people are profiling as the perfect profile to play next to Caicedo, that can do it all, that can lead, that can score goals as well. Like, he can be a goal scorer from central midfield. So interesting to see him getting a little bit of love. 8% of the votes. I guess it's out of sight, out of mind. Maybe the more football nerds voted for him. If more people saw what he was doing, I think he'd probably get closer to Enzo personally. But in a way, it's a bonus question. It's a bonus option. So we move. So we're going in the pocket player now, which is really a CDM here. Sorry, a CAM, a CAM. 3 choices: Felix, Nkunku, and Cole Palmer. Joint second place, unsurprisingly, is Felix and Nkunku, both with 4%. I actually thought there might be more for either or, and I thought a lot of people might do that to put Palmer on the right wing. But no, people want the main player in the pocket, so inside, Cole Palmer, 92%. Friggin' landslide. We need to see him find a bit more space soon. Hopefully that run of games we got coming will afford him that opportunity. Right, left wing. 4 options. Nkunku, who not many people want to see left wing. Mudryk, Neto, and Sancho. Okay, Sancho we've not seen for a while. He's been injured, out sick, and people are starting to speak negatively about him in his absence, which isn't very fair. And last place, and I'm quite pleased about this, it's Christopher Nkunku at 7%. I do not want to see Nkunku out on the wing. He's wasted. He's a passenger. He's less effective than all the other guys. Excuse me. I know he's played there before for other teams and France, but not for us. We need proper wingers. He's not a proper winger. So Nkunku's last with 7%. Third place with 13% is Mykhailo Mudryk. Winning some hearts back in midweek games, but people don't want to see him as a starter. Now, that leaves second and third, in no particular order before I tell you, Neto and Sancho. Now, Neto looks like the first choice winger. But Neto's got 21% and Sancho has got 59%. So in a poll with 4 options, and the lowest still getting 7%, by the way, so it's significant. Sancho still run away with it, and this is a player we haven't seen for a while. A player that Liam Twomey of The Athletic wrote an article about, that he can be the player to open up the left-hand flank attacks. Not someone that's just running in behind, like a runner like Neto on that side when he plays on that side, or Mudryk. A player that can receive the ball, slow the game down, and create. Sancho gets the people's vote. So right mid, right wing, right? We've got Cole Palmer. I've put him there as an option in case people wanted to have Nkunku or Felix in the pocket there. But we got Cole Palmer. We got Madueke, who is Chelsea's starting right winger in the Premier League, right? He is. I think you can see what's coming here. Palmer got 5%, so no one is believing in the right wing Palmer. Some people have said it in my comments. Oh, just put Palmer right wing. He did it last season. His better games were when firstly when he played right wing for Pochettino, he was cutting inside massively anyway. And then when he played even better under Pochettino, he was playing in the pocket with Madueke on the right. These wingers under Maresca need to play as proper wingers. Remember when Palmer was asked to play as a proper winger last international break for Carsley? Didn't touch the ball, didn't do anything in the whole game. You can't put Palmer there. So understandably, you guys have said 5%. Now, the starting current right winger in Noni Madueke got 10% of votes. He has lost the streets, which means Pedro Neto, who scored from the right wing against Arsenal. The left wing, he was all right, but as soon as he moved to the right wing, he could cut in and use his left boot, and that's how he scored that wonder goal. Neto has absolutely ran away with the right wing vote. Sounds like a politics joint. With 85%. 85% for Pedro Neto, which leaves just one position, guys. Striker. There are 3 options. Of course, there's Jackson and Nkunku, but I put a bonus in there. False 9 Felix, because that's something we've spoken about here on the channel before. I think False 9 Felix, personally, I'll tell you now, I don't want him as a starter, but I think he should definitely be considered as like a 30 minutes option sub. But False 9 Felix gets not completely disrespected, but a nominal 6%. Nkunku gets only 21%, which means with a whopping 73% vote, people are still backing Action Jackson as the starter. So, main things here to take away is no one trusts the frigging goalkeeper. And so much so that they'd take Petrovic back. Also, these 3 are apps, to be honest, even Reece James, Malo Gusto, who all Chelsea fans generally love, the vast majority would bench him because they want to see this back 4. And this is like a resounding vote, like a solid, everyone wants this back 4. So that is pretty interesting, and we can see continuity there. Of course, James is the captain as well, especially in the absence of Enzo Fernandez. I don't know how good a captain he was. Of course, Caicedo and Palmer are like the obvious choices. Interesting to see Lavia still get such a huge support by the Chelsea fans. And Jackson, not so surprising. The wingers are surprising because people are done with Noni. They want to see Pedro Neto off the right, and the streets haven't forgot about Sancho. They want to see Sancho on the left wing opening up that attack. That is a strong team. Breathe it in, guys. That is a difference-making team, if you ask me. If we started the game against Arsenal like that, with Reece James there, Pedro Neto starting on the right, and then Sancho on the left, because remember, Palmer's man marked out the game. Get Sancho the ball. He can do stuff. He can do bits of magic. Very, very exciting indeed. And that's what you guys said. I really wanted to do this video. I've been thinking about it today, and I've done it today. So let me know what you think. Let's start up the conversation down below. Please do leave your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And yeah, man, I'll see what you man are saying in the comments. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. See you soon. Peace.